This book won't just help you to change your habits, it will help you to change your life. What if I told you that all those massive success you see aren't just because of big goals or giant leaps, but it's the tiny habits that we take every day that sum up to these big achievements. In this book, James Clear broke down the science of how small changes can lead to massive results. So if this is something that you are interested in, stick with me and let's do this. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite dimmailoka, and on this channel I help girls wherever they are with whatever they have to be wherever they want to be. I help girls achieve their dream of self-expression without depending on anyone or borrowing exotic environments. So if you want to level up your life, discover your power as a woman, and create the life you want to live without begging for people to give you money to fund your dream life, well, this channel is for you. So hit the subscribe button and join the family. We are so happy to have you around. So I promised you all when I bought this book that I'm going to do a book lesson telling you all you can learn from this book, and this is what we are going to do today. Someone might ask, what is habit? So habit is an action that is repeated enough to become automatic. In my video about the subconscious mind, if you haven't watched that, after watching this video you go watch that. I talked about how we are on autopilot. Our brain has a lot of things to do, so the more repeated an action is, the less our brain thinks about it. Our brain has to focus on other things like our first time experiences. When we are uncertain, our brain has to focus on those things, so the other actions we repeat becomes automatic. The ultimate goal of building a habit is to solve problem. So you might ask, why is habit important? Habit is important because our life is built on habits. What you eat, where you eat at, what you do every day surrounds habits. Habits helps you to achieve your goals. Habits helps you to build systems that will make you to achieve your goals. So let me tell you why systems are important. For example, every footballer wants to win the Ballon d'Or. Every footballer wants to be the world best player. But why is it that not everybody is winning it? Everybody's goal is the same. But what makes the difference is the system. It's how we pursue that goal that makes the difference. So you've seen why habit is important. In this book, James Clear talked about the habit loop, which are 4 things: cue, craving, response, and reward. So these are the things that makes an habit to take place. Remember, an habit is an action that is repeated enough to become automatic. The more satisfying these 4 concepts that I mentioned is, the more it is repeated and then automatically becomes an habit. So let me explain this to you. So the first on the list is cue. What is cue? Cue is what triggers your brain to start an action. Cue is what tells your brain it's time to act. And this could be internal or external, right? Internally, it might be boredom or stress. Then externally, it might be your phone lights up because a notification enters it. That is a cue. It signals to your brain it's time to act. That flash of light from your phone, that notification sound triggers your brain. It tells your brain it is time to act. So the next on the list is craving. So what is craving? Craving is the desire or motivation to perform an action. We don't perform an action simply because we want to do it. Yes, for example, you don't press your phone simply because you want to press your phone. No. The reason you press your phone is the desire behind it, is the motivation, is the feeling you will get from pressing your phone. Maybe it's craving for entertainment or connection. That is what triggers you to press your phone, not necessarily pressing the phone. So when I read this part of this book just explained to me how we human being works. And it's so crazy. You don't crave an habit itself. You crave the feeling it gives to you. So let's talk about craving in the example we are using about the notification that enters your phone. So the craving here is the desire for the feeling of entertainment. It might be connection to chat with people. It might be your growth on social media. You want to see, oh, how much like is that video or picture getting, or the comments is getting, right? So that is the craving there. So what is the response? The response is performing the action itself. It is you now taking up your phone, unlocking it, and then attending to that notification you got. That is the response. So the response is the habit itself. So finally, the reward. This is the satisfaction you get from performing that action. It can be positive or negative. So if it is positive, it means that you are going to repeat this again: the cue, the craving, the response, the reward, the cue, the craving, the response, the reward. So that is why he called it the habit loop. But if it is negative, you might decide on not taking that action again. So the reward here is that feeling of excitement. Maybe the notification you got was a funny video, and then you opened it, you watched it, you enjoyed it, you laughed. You would want to open your phone again. You'd want to press your phone again. So let's say the reward was you getting a lot of likes or comments on social media. And it lightens up your heart. It gladdens your heart. You want to open your phone again the next minute to see how many likes you're getting, the next hour. Then maybe it might be the connection you crave. Maybe a long-time friend chatted you up, or you are chatting with your friend, the conversation was so enjoyable that you want to open your phone again, you want to touch your phone again. So that is how habits work. The cue, the signal to act. The craving is the motivation behind the habit or the action you want to take. The response is you performing the action, and the reward is the satisfaction you get from performing that action. So with that being said, let's move on to the next segment of this video, which is how to build good habits and break bad ones. James Clear talked about 4 laws in this book, and that law, if you want to build a habit, you are going to use the 4 laws. If you want to break an habit, you are going to see use that 4 laws, but then reversely. You're going to reverse it. So the 4 laws is: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. So these are the 4 laws to build good habits. So if you want to break bad ones, is to stop making it to be obvious, make it unattractive, make it hard, and make it unsatisfying. It is as simple as that. So this works in trying to build good habits. And if you want to break bad ones, is to reverse it, right? Use it in the opposite way, and then you're going to break bad habits. So this is like a 2-way learning process. So in the first law, which is make it obvious, what you need to do is to start with awareness. I love how this book started with awareness, because I talk about awareness a lot in my videos. If you're not aware of something, if you don't know your problems, you can't solve it. If you're not aware of something, then you can't handle it. So the first step is awareness. So you need to be aware of your habits, what you do on a daily. So he talks about getting a habit scorecard and write down all the habits you perform every day, like everything from morning till night. You can wait maybe tomorrow after watching this video, the next day you can start from the morning and start writing down what you do every day. So after writing this thing down, all you need to do is you are going to grade them: the good habits, the bad ones, and the neutral ones. So the good habits, you are going to add a plus sign by the side. The bad habits, you are going to add a minus sign by the side. And a neutral habit, you are going to add an equal sign by the side. So what is a neutral habit? A neutral habit are habits that you must perform, like you cannot change it. For example, waking up in the morning. It's something that you cannot change. It's there. You have to do it. So after writing all these things down, you've gained clarity on what your daily habits look like. So what you have to do is to ask yourself, which habits am I going to replace? Which habits do I have to put in more effort? So the next thing you need to do is to pair new habits. So he said it in this way, which I'm going to write it on the screen, is I will bracket behavior at bracket time in bracket location. So this is trying to say that when you're trying to pair new habits, you need to get specific with it. So you say, I will do this, I will perform this behavior, I will perform this task at so time and in so location. So you've gotten clear. Like I said, one thing that makes us not to achieve our goals, we are not lazy people, but the reason is we are not clear. So you need to get clear on the new habits you want to build, what that habit is all about, the time you need to perform it, and at which location. So that way, when that time comes, you know that you have to do this at so time and in so place. So also he talked about the habit stacking. So habit stacking is simply saying after performing an habit you used to perform before, and then after that habit you start the new one, you pair it up with the new one, so that way it's seamless. We talked about her tendency of getting a new position and how it creates a spiral of consumption. This happened to me. So there was a time I wanted to buy more clothes because I felt like I don't have much clothes anymore. I've grown so much that some of my clothes don't fit me anymore. So I started buying clothes. But do you know what this did? When I started buying clothes, I saw myself buying more and more. At the time when I wanted to stop buying these clothes, I could not. Every time I gravitate towards buying clothes. So once you start something, once you start doing something, it creates a spiral of you doing that thing over and over again. So he talked about habit stacking. When I started creating these short form videos on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, you know what I did? I used to create these videos after classes in the afternoon, and then that time I'm tired, my makeup I've cleaned, I had to now reapply my makeup, I'm sweating, and I'm not just in the right mood because I'm down, I'm tired, and it was a lot of work for me. I was stressing. But when I started making these videos in the morning before classes, then I'm still fresh. My makeup is still on, I'm not sweating, I'm not scattered, I'm still put together. So you can see how I pair this habit. So when pairing habits, pair it in a way that it is seamless. It is okay, it is easy for you after performing this action, you start performing this one, you just move. It's just so seamless. Also, designing your environment to enforce this new habit. So like this, the name of this law is make it obvious. So you need to make this new habits of yours obvious. Yes. For example, times I have to take drugs. And what I do is, maybe when I'm sick, maybe I'm having malaria and I'm taking drugs. You know what I do? I used to carry my drug around. I put it in my bag because I know that I can easily forget, especially when I'm healing. When I feel like, yeah, I'm okay, I don't need drugs anymore, and then I've not completed the dosage of my drug, there is a tendency for me to forget about the drug. So I used to carry my drug around. So whenever I put my hand in my bag, I want to bring out something, I'm feeling that drug, I'm touching the drug, I'm bringing it out, I know that the drug is still here. So it reminds me all the time I open my bag that you have to take your drug so time. So that way I don't forget about taking it. So make good habits obvious and then make bad ones less obvious. It's that simple. He talks about spending less time in tempting situation. He talks about that the highest self-control you can have is not to resist, but also to leave that situation. So whenever you are in an environment that is going to trigger you to repeat a bad habit, you need to move away from it, because like this law is saying, make it obvious. Then in times of bad habits, make it less obvious. Okay. And also, finally, I want to talk about something he talked about in this law. He talks about how our environments condition us to behave the way we behave. We eat what we find in our environment. We live by what we see in our environment. For example, in my own case, in this school, inside the school, I live inside the school. There's no way I've seen them selling fruits here. So the only time I have to eat food is when I get out of the school. And just getting out of the school is not like just getting out of the school. Transportation fare. Even if you want to trek, it's really far. But it's not something like I get from my immediate environment. In my immediate environment, I see junk food. So what this means is, whenever I'm in this school environment, I'll not take fruit until I go out of it. So you can see how my environments have conditioned me to behave the way I behave. So our environment plays a huge role. So you need to pay attention to it. You can start separating your workspace from your relaxation space. You can create just a corner in your room for, this is the place I work with. Make it obvious. Get your laptop, get your books, get everything you need to work with. Get it there. So it's not obvious. You see, when you wake up in the morning, you're seeing your office space in your room. You're making it obvious. The second law is make it attractive. And this law focuses on cravings and desire. Why an habit appeals to you. So he talked about why we eat junk food. But it's because it is appealing. When we eat it, it sends a signal to our brain that, yeah, I want to do this more often. This is exciting. Our habits are dopamine driven. Pleasure, motivation, excitement. Like I used to say, we are driven by our emotions. Sometimes people like, you don't need to care about your emotions, do things you have to do. No. We are moved by our emotions. And even the next book I'm reading, which is The Psychology of Money, he talked about our emotions as well there. Our emotions is something that we cannot leave out of the equation completely. The only thing we need to do is to learn how to manage it. Right? So in this book, he talked about for you to develop new habits, you can make it attractive by saying, okay, once I perform this new habit, I'm going to reward myself with this. So let me use myself as an example, because I love using example in this, talking about this book, because the example is going to paint the picture you need to be able to understand this faster. And I don't want this to be a really long video, because looking at the time I've consumed already is getting long, so I don't want it to be like so long. So I'm going to be using practical examples in explaining this. So it talked about, after performing a new habit, then you reward yourself. So that way you want to perform that habit again so that you will get that reward. So in my own case, what I do is any day I have to shoot videos, like on days I have to shoot this long form content, I film 3 videos at a go. I know that my videos are super long. I have 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes long videos, right? So whenever I make those videos, I reward myself with watching Netflix. So I have the time I can watch movie, I can sleep in the afternoon, which is something I don't normally do. I can have the time to just relax and then start again. So that is the reward I get. So because of this reward I'm getting, I look forward to creating so that I can be able to watch movies, relax, just lie around, chat with my friends and just be. That is the reward I get. So you can see that we make these new habits of mine attractive. And also, when rewarding yourself, please reward yourself with something that also adds value to you. Yes, don't reward yourself with something that will spoil the habit you've performed before. For example, let's say maybe after going to the gym, you reward yourself. Let that reward not be junk food, because when you reward yourself with junk food, you also get back those calories that you've burned. So you can see that you're not making any progress. So you can reward yourself by saying, okay, I'm going to save so amount of money once I go to the gym. Then you open an account for that. Maybe let's say you save up for a leather jacket. A leather jacket is a clothing and it can be a necessity. You can get a black leather jacket and you can pair it up with different clothes, whatever clothes you want to wear. So you can see that you are rewarding yourself rightly. So for me, watching this movie, it's not just that I'm wasting time. I have this dream of creating vlogs. Yes, and I watch movies so that, because I have this picture on how I want my vlog to be. I want my vlogs to be like a movie. That's why I just pause at this moment. So when I'm going to start again, I might create a specific channel for it or continue here. But I want my vlogs to look a certain way. So whenever I watch movies, I learn about composition, I learn color grading, I learn lighting, different angles to film. I learned that from movies. Yes. So you can see that I'm not just wasting my time, I'm also gaining a knowledge. So when I sleep in the afternoon, when I rest, it's good for me. It's good to rest so that you can recharge and get back up again. So when I have that time to chat with my friends, to play with my roomies, I also build connections with them. So you can see that it is a win-win situation for me, but is that these things are things that I love to do. But they are also reward for me because I enjoy these conversations with my friends. I enjoy watching this movie, getting different ideas, learning about different camera angles and stuff. So don't reward yourself with something that's going to spoil the habit you are building. No. Reward yourself with something that is not going to affect it but to build you. Also, it talks about how our culture and environment that determines what we do, right? We love to imitate the habits of those close to us, the many and the powerful. These are the 3 people he talked about. We imitate the habits of the close, the many and the powerful. So he talked about associating yourself with people who are like-minded like you, so that the things you are dreaming for, the things you want to achieve are also normal for them. So for example, let's say you want to be healthy, you want to start going to the gym. Associate with people who goes to the gym, who going to the gym is natural to them. So that way you can easily go to the gym, you can easily exercise, you can easily work out, and then it will not become your habit. So join a culture that your desired behavior is normal. It's that simple. He also talked about how every habit have a surface level craving and an underlying motive. How habits are modern day solutions to ancient problems. All that we've been craving, all that we want, all that we have troubles with, all of these things have been there, they're not new. That is why there is too much consumerism going on in the world right now, and people are speaking up, like we are consuming a lot. Just the other day, I was seeing a trend on social media where people, bring out their lip products. So you have the lip balm, you have the lip gloss, you have the lip stains, you have the lip tints, you even have lip sunscreen, you have peptide, like you have the lip scrub, lip mask. Like there's a lot of lip products, but all these things are just solutions to one thing that have been there. So you can see that these products that you see out there, some of them are not helping us. You don't need them. All these things you see, you need this, you need that. All of those things, most of them are not even necessary. They are taking us to consumers. What are we doing with all these products? So you need to be aware of this tendency as human beings. So he also talked about changing your mindset, because at the end of the day, what is attractive to us are things that we believe. Because when we are born, we have no knowledge of what is going on in the world. Everything we do is learned. Every attitude, every behavior we exhibit is what is learned. And also the society teaches us that going to the gym is hard, exercising is hard, but then relaxing is easy. So you need to change your mindset around these things. That way you're going to make that habit attractive and make the bad ones unattractive. The next law is make it easy, which focus on reducing the friction and making the habits effortless. He talked about the concept of practicing and not planning, which is motion and action. So he said that motion is when you plan, you strategize to perfect, but action is doing, right? So he talked about we should stop wasting our time in planning, but we should start doing. He gave the example of two groups of students, group A and group B. So group A, we are asked to go and take just one picture that is going to be good, that is going to be perfect. And group B, we are asked to take as many pictures as possible. And from these many pictures, they are going to get the perfect ones. So when these two groups went and did their projects, when they brought it back, the best pictures we are gotten from the group that had the option of taking as many photographs as possible. You never get perfect by planning, by strategizing. No, you get perfect by practicing, by putting yourself out there. We talked about the law of least effort. As human beings, our real motivation is to be lazy. We don't want to do anything. That is our motivation. So when you are trying to set up a new habit, be careful not to overwork yourself. Be careful not to add so much to your plate that you cannot handle it. You can do this by using the 2-minute rule. So when you are trying to develop a new habit, you use the 2-minute rule by saying maybe you are going to read for 2 minutes. Well, this is an example. We are going to go to the gym for just 2 minutes. So this is just trying to say that you need to start gradually. Yes, there was a time I was reading 50 pages of a book a day. It was too much of me. Sometimes I could not even finish reading it. And that made me to start focusing on reading that many pages instead of focusing on gaining the knowledge. But when I reduced it to reading 10 pages a day, it was easy for me. I read just 10 pages. And then I take it easy with reading because I know that just turn the page 5 times and then I'm done. So it made me to start gaining the knowledge I need. Instead of just chasing after the numbers, I start chasing after the value. So he talked about the law of least effort, starting small. So that way the habit is easy and then you can repeat it. Me reading 10 pages of a book a day, it's easier for me to repeat it rather than reading 50 pages. So within 3-4 days, I'm done reading a whole book. It doesn't make sense. So when you want to go to the gym, you can say, okay, let me implement this 2-minute rule. And the gym, you start small, you don't waste so much time there and come back. That way, it's easier for you to go back again. But the day you go there and perform every type of workout, then you can see that you will start dreading going back to the gym because it's hard. After coming back, your whole body is paining you. You did it again, you do it again and again and again. Then you don't want to go back there. So make it easy. Make it something you want to go back to. He also talks about reducing the friction, and that is what technology is doing today. Technology is reducing our friction because they understand that our real motivation is to be lazy. We love to do things easily. We love easy things. So technology understands that. That is why you see things like meal delivery. You can add the comfort of your home, order food and eat. It is now reducing the friction of you going outside to buy food. All those shopping apps that help you to buy groceries and they deliver it to your house. It reduces the friction of you going to the grocery store to buy groceries. So that is what technology is doing. It's trying to reduce the friction because they understand that human beings are lazy. We love to do things easily. So reduce the friction of you developing that new habit. It might be that you want to be organized. You can start by, once you wake up, you make your bed instantly. So when you come back from the day's job, then you're going back home to a made bed. It can be keeping things back from where you brought it out from. That way you're organized. That way everything is where it's meant to be. Reducing the friction. Make it easy. Talked about using automation apps. This thing helps us to stay in track. This thing helps us to reduce the friction of performing certain things. So let's say when you get your salary, have this app that helps you to automatically deposit money into your savings and every other account you open. That way you don't have to, every time your money drops, then you have to pick up your phone, make use of the calculator and start transferring. No, it's hard. Once you do it the first month, the second month, the third month, you are dropping. You will stop doing it. Not because you are lazy, but because you've not understood the law of making it easy. So make your habits easy. So the last law is make it satisfying. So this increases the odds that an action will be repeated. Make it satisfying. Our brains are wired for instant gratification. When you see people that smoke, you're like, but they know they are liable to die young. They know that smoking will burn their lungs and stuff. They know all those things. But why are they repeating that action? It's because of instant gratification. Our brain is wired for instant gratification. The long-term results might be a lungs problem, kidney problem, but the short-term gain will be to feel good, to reduce the stress. So you can understand why human beings act the way they do. So we are likely to repeat an habit when it is satisfying. Yes, he talked about the chewing gum concept, that chewing gum has been there, but people were not making use of it until Wright invented the chewing gum we know today, this tasteful and flavored chewing gum. So that is when human beings started eating it as much as we do today. So make that habit satisfying. Just like I talked about, after performing an habit, I reward myself. That is instant gratification. So trick your mind to start acting that way. So these are the 4 laws, and I hope that this can help you to stick to good habits. So here is the bonus package from this video. For people who are able to make it to this point, I have a little package for you. So in building good habits, he talked about creating to-do lists and sticking to them. And he talked about how ticking off your to-do list, help you want to do more. Because like I've experienced this myself. Whenever I perform actions and then I'm like, let me go to my to-do list and see things I've not done. When I tick off things I've done, I have the tendency of, going back and wanting to do more so that I can tick it off. We have this natural tendency. So work with to-do lists. Like when he talks about the spiral of consumption, a tendency to consume more. When we start doing something, a tendency to keep on doing it. So you can make use of that in creating a good habit. He also talked about recovering quickly when an habit breaks down. So that naturally life will happen. There are miscellaneous, there are emergencies, right? So whenever you break your habits, try as much as possible to recover as fast as possible. Because if you don't recover fast, then you are developing a new habit again of not doing that thing which you are meant to do, right? So recover fast. So once you fail, once you break down, don't just stay down there. Don't feel bad. No, get up and keep on doing it, okay? Surely you will fail because life is filled with uncertainties. Life will get in the way, but it is the ability to recover quickly that makes the difference. So let's go off your perfectionism. And where he talked about motion and action, about the group A and B, which performed a test. Group B, which had the space to make mistakes, to grow. They are the one that made the most perfect picture. And the people who have just to make just one picture that is perfect. So let's go of your perfectionism. Just keep on doing, just keep on showing up. Okay? Just keep on doing, just keep on showing up. From there, practice makes perfect. We also talked about getting an accountability partner. When people check us, we have this tendency of trying to do better because naturally we hate to fail, right? We hate to disappoint people. We want people to see us as good, as perfect, as great people. So you can get an accountability partner. You also talked about the role gene and talent has to play in our life. And you talked about we gravitating towards things that we are capable of doing, right? So let's say, for example, a tall person, a very, very tall person, let's say 6.7 feet tall, can be a basketball player because of that height. So that person has had that advantage. So look at things that the odds are in your favor and chase your passion towards that direction, right? I also made a video talking about passion, and that will explain this in great details. How to find your passion, you know, how to make your passion work, how to know things or know a career path that is meant for you. So I'll not say much about it now. Guys, it's about to rain heavily and I have to cut this video short at this time, okay? But I've talked about the major follows we talked about. Other things here are just, you know, other chapters in this book that we just talked about different things. So yeah, it's still your favorite Dimmailoka, and it's been great with you guys. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, guys. It helps the channel and it helps me as well. Until next time, don't forget to stay positive and stay cheeky. Bye.